The movie does not let up for like a fucking hour straight.
Yeah, you're right.
Just
Yeah,
like
because
anxiety.
yeah, I didn't think about that because I had to like pause it multiple times because I have a son. Now I know how you feel. But
I
you're
paused I paused it multiple times because I'm a bitch. So
I finally
Watched.
I finally
Watched.
I
finally
watched. I
finally
watched.
I finally
Watched.
welcome to another episode of I Finally Watched. I'm Alain,
and this is David, and today I finally watched Us.
and I finally watched Us. Also, we finally watched Us.
I thought you had seen it.
No, I've seen his other two. I've seen Get Out and I've seen Nope, but I kind of skipped this one. I think it's clear now that both of us aren't really that big of a fan of horror movies until we started this pod. Now I think we're both more accepting to watch horror movies more often than before. And so I don't even know if I would consider this a horror movie. I think maybe a horror movie along the same lines as like maybe Weapons.
This is a very like specific type of horror that he does. He's a huge fan of the Twilight Zone, Jordan Peele.
Yeah, didn't he like had the kind of
Yeah.
the reboot of it? Yeah.
Yeah, correct. And so that's kind of the vibe of these movies, right? Get Out, obviously with the like, the racial connotations that Get Out did, and this does have as well. But it's that type of horror, right? That's like yes, and then added into some gore, some violence, some potentially some jump scares here and there.
Well,
But
it's kind of along the same style as Zach Kreger.
I don't think
It,
so at all.
you don't think so? Where it's like presented with a mystery or presented with a question, and it's a horror movie, but you're also trying to figure out what the fuck is happening.
No, I like because Zach Kreger's two movies, and this is what had me thinking is, we did that little episode for Weapons, and then we did Barbarian that's coming out at some point before or after this. I have no idea. We'll figure out which one I edit first. But Zach Kreger's movies take place in the real world, and Jordan Peele's don't. And that's why in thinking about Kreger's, I was like talking to you about how I liked the fact that he has this sort of conceit, but he doesn't feel the need to explain it all the way. Whereas in this movie, which I liked a lot, I had a lot of questions. I thought some pieces of it could have been a little better, but I found it very interesting. I needed more of this conceit explained to me because it just I don't it didn't feel like I don't know well earned enough even though and I think the thing that would have saved it for me saved it saying like I didn't like it. I did like it, but I saw the ending coming from
Interesting.
like a mile away.
Well, the only reason I saw it coming is because it was spoiled to me. You're talking about the twist.
Yes, the twist. The
So
twist.
the the twist was spoiled to me a long time ago. So I already knew about that. I thought how it unfolded was pretty fun. Was pretty good. But let's go back for a second with what you mean. Exactly what do you mean about Kreger's being in the real world and this one's not? I want to kind of push you on that because I think this is interesting. For Get Out, are you talking about the sci-fi element of putting people's brains inside people's brains and people being okay with that?
Yeah, that's exactly what the fuck I was talking about.
Okay, wait. So for this one, I think this one's a little bit more obvious to what you're saying. I don't want to spoil or say anything about Nope, but I don't really see that so much in Nope. In Barbarian, and especially Weapons, I think Weapons suffers the same thing that this one that suffers from. I say
No,
suffers, but where it has this element in it which you just have to accept because, like you said, it's not in the real world with us. But are we just supposed to accept in Weapons that there's just like witchcraft and witches?
how many witch movies have you seen in your entire life though?
Oh,
Like you
a
understand the
bit.
basic concept of witches. So you don't really need a lot of explain to you. Also, like it's using the element of like parasites, right? She's able to inhabit these bodies and make them do what you want. Like because of our knowledge of witches and like us seeing what's happening, like I didn't have a lot of questions on how that worked. But this whole world of just people live in these underground tunnels, which a little bit is like it feels like at the like they got to the end of this movie and they're like, "Oh, we need to add something at the beginning of this just so people aren't like, where the fuck did these tunnels come from?" And you know what I mean? At the beginning, there's just like, "Oh yeah, there's tunnels throughout the U.S. like thousands and thousands and thousands of miles of tunnels."
Yeah, I see what you're saying, but I guess I feel like I could make the same argument for Get Out, where it's like, how many brain swapping movies have you seen? A lot, right?
Well,
Like in different.
I'm mostly talking about the movie we're talking about now because I don't have the same problem with Get Out. But this movie
Okay,
is
so it's one movie, sure.
no, I mean there's a little bit of that in Get Out, but yeah, this too. I don't know, like you're taking sort of an argumentative approach to this.
No, no, I'm not. I'm not meaning to. I'm just curious on what you mean, because this movie is the only one of Peele's movies where I can agree with you. I don't agree with you about it on Get Out, and not with
Well,
Nope.
you know I haven't seen Nope, so I can't argue with you about a thing I haven't seen. But in the movie we're talking about
So I win.
today, huh?
So I win.
That's fine if you need that.
Yeah.
But in this movie, I just don't feel like the whole world was explained enough to me. Now it sort of does get there in the end. The other kind of major, not problem, just like a little tweak is like I don't understand how the real Lupita, who is, we'll just call her Red, right? We're going to pretend the one who can't speak well is Red. We'll call her that throughout. And then Addie is the one who is above, you know? So for
Okay.
whatever.
Good clarification.
I don't understand how Red in that final battle when she's speaking to her is not like, you fucking put me down here. You know what I mean? Like, it just seems like a natural thing she would say. Like, that's the point where we should have found out.
Yes, but it is known between the both of them that that is what happened, right? So I guess it doesn't need to be spoken. Here's my question for you: do you think Addie knew the entire time?
Oh, you think like she had forgotten?
I think that's one interpretation of how you could read it, but the other one, where I thought she forgot through, because knowing the twist, I thought she forgot the whole movie, except there's like a look that she gives her son at the very end, where I was like, oh fuck, I think she knew the entire time.
I do too. There's bits and pieces. Like I was doing a little bit of reading afterwards. She only tries to kill herself, the Red character, because she wants to make sure she maintains like her control. It basically seems to come down to like everyone kills themselves, right? They only like the underground people, only the tethers, they
Hmm.
only try and kill themselves. Like Elizabeth Moss could have killed her at any point, but she doesn't.
She can't. It almost seems like Dahlia had like this like resistant magnetic thing against Lupita.
Right. So she, but the people on top obviously can kill whoever they want because, you know, the daughter killed what, both the twins, sort of
One
killed
twin.
Elizabeth Moss. So, but there's this, you know, throughout the movie at different points when what's her name? Umbre gets thrown into the trees, you're like, "Oh, you need to finish her off," and she doesn't. She sort of comforts her. And then as Pluto is backing up into the fire, she's like, "No, no, no, stop." And it's like, "Well, why do you care if he stops? Like, why are you trying to save him?" Which is a
Because
little bit,
technically those are her kids, if you think about it that way.
but not really.
No, no,
But
no.
they
Not
are, but
really.
they are, but they aren't.
Exactly.
Like, so yeah, she didn't her kids are the ones on surface, even though she shouldn't have been on the surface. Those are her kids. Like, she fucked to create those kids.
No, yeah, for sure.
Just as Red had those shadow kids, Pluto and
But I
Umbre.
don't, the way she described it is, I don't think she has to have sex to have those kids. Or maybe she does, because
Well, they match all the moves.
yeah. Except her, right? Is that so? There's a moment at the end where Red is talking to Addie and saying like we were special, aren't we? We weren't made the same way as them. And I think she's talking about the fact that they can break their tether a little bit because yeah, they both end up in the same mirror place, but at that point the one chokes her out, drags her down the tunnel, right? That's breaking the mirroring of each other. They're not both choking each other out, right? One takes like lead
Right.
into it. And so I think that's why all the other tethered people probably treats her more like a messiah, where it's she's not like them. She's a little bit more powerful, a little bit more different.
Yeah.
That's my kind of take on it.
Oh well, I'm proud of you for it.
Thanks.
So I think we can get started. Overall, I do love the movie. The opening scene that takes place in 1986, which is after the I was I was so confused at the beginning when it's like there are these tunnels and they do this and do that and that, and I was like, are these subtitles, cuz there's no sound. So then I like went and turned subtitles off and watched it again, but they just are in the spot where subtitles should be, but it's like a crawl. It was very odd to me, like the structure of that.
Oh, I guess that there are like they're offset to the left bottom a little bit, right? Yeah.
Right. Which they looked like where the subtitle should be. So anyway, then we get the Hands Across America thing, which just reminds me back to when we did Framed, and I had no chance of getting this, and you're like, you got it, and you're like, oh, well, I knew the whole Hands Across America thing was huge in Us.
Oh shit, that's right. Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
just like, I have no idea. The opening scene though in the carnival is great when they go into the Vision Quest, which is like it was like a Native American name for the Vision Quest, and then it was Merlin's forest afterwards
Yeah.
because of the whole like we have to change things, which is very accurate to like then and now. That's such a creepy scene. Like
I think that and the tunnel, like when they're underground, I think those are the no, because when the family
the
first
family.
shows up on their driveway, that's the start of like a really fucking creepy scene.
What's also amazing too is so Winston Duke playing Gabe is going such against type because like the main other thing I've seen him in Black Panther,
Yeah.
where he's just a huge fucking warrior. In this, he's like a nerd who is scared of things.
Insufferable.
Yes.
Insufferable. And so was her father. Did you notice that? Like her father was like not a great dude, and then she ended up marrying kind of a pussy in a way. Like the fact that both of her father and her husband gaslight the shit out of their spouses.
I didn't think the father was that bad. You know, it's not that hard to lose a kid. They just fucking
No,
walk
but he
off.
was drunk. He's an alcoholic, and I think they had implied that he left them.
Oh, the scene where he like pets her head.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like I'm gonna go out for a cigarette. I'm never coming back.
Right, exactly. I
Is
think
what
I
the
mean
fuck.
I don't think
We don't see him in any other context in the rest of her life.
I don't think you're reading the context clues correctly. I think he's not a good dude.
Well, I didn't like. I'm not. I don't think we need to have an argument over it. I just think he's also like, you know, he was
I'm
also
feeling
getting
very
belittled.
argumentative. You can argue with me tonight. I don't know what's up. I don't know what's
I
up
mean,
with
that
you.
wife was getting onto him a little too much. All right, and then that fucking kid just ran off. She just walked away.
He
Past a
was way
bum.
look, as an old like as an adult, he was way too focused on whack-a-mole. Just let me tell you
I will
that.
say, who's like, oh, whack-a-mole. I got to fucking play whack-a-mole. Did you notice? It's like it wouldn't even be stunt casting, but the girl who was feeding the guy, like the girl and the guy that were eating to the side,
Yeah.
is rather famous in a movie that I think you and I both love.
Just the random shot of the guy and the girl on
Yeah,
the
like
on the
eating. Yeah, like eating
and
as
then it
she.
paralleled later to them eating rabbits in the
Yes.
cafeteria. Okay, who are they?
So the guy, I have no idea. His name's Nathan Harrington. The girl is Kara Hayward, most well known as the love interest in Moonrise Kingdom.
Oh,
The
okay.
main like 12-year-old girl or whatever.
So I have the rolling credits list in front of me right now,
Yeah.
and in the rolling credits list, it gives you the character name on top, their like clone name, and then who it's played by, right?
Yeah.
And the clone names are in red text. And there's way more names on this thing than I remember like seeing like in the movie.
Correct.
But at the bottom, it's Kara Hayward plays Nancy, and Nathan Harrington plays Glenn. I don't know if there's a thing about Nathan Harrington's character Glenn, but the Upside Down world, or it's not Stranger Things.
The
Wait,
tethered
the
world.
Tethered World. Thank you. The Tethered World. His name is Jack.
Yeah.
But Kara Hayward's tethered self is named Sid.
You spent a lot of time just to get to the Sid and Nancy thing that you wanted to
Yeah.
say. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. Anyway, then there's just the credits after the really good creepy scene. There's just the credits with bunnies, and I was like, "What the fuck with the bunnies?
Oh
We're
yeah.
gonna tie into these bunnies." Get to present day, the vacation home near Santa Cruz. I guess they still own it. Was this their parents' vacation?
I
or
take
is
it
this-
that they died and now she inherits
she
it.
just has this, yeah. But she's like, I fucking hate going here. I don't know why she didn't sell it previously.
Yeah, or say something. Yeah.
So, and then the husband's like, we have to go to the beach. She's like, I fucking hate the beach. He's like, we have to go to the beach. I have to buy this shitty boat. They go there. Elizabeth Moss in this movie is great casting, I
Great
think.
casting.
Anne Heidecker as the husband.
Yep.
The creepy twins, obviously a Shining reference.
Oh, I mean, they weren't creepy until.
They were creepy. They were talking like in unison at the beach.
Okay.
And I was
you
also like, who the
consider
fuck
that
are these
creepy.
bitches? And I was like, oh, they have to be. And that also like leads you to the, oh, like, does everyone have a twin thing? Like, oh, there's going to be multiple twins. And at that point, I didn't know about the tethering thing.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, it kind of sucks that I went into this knowing everything. It didn't like kill my enjoyment of the movie. I still enjoyed it, but I think I would have had a much more instinctive, whoa, what the fuck? Oh my god, like feeling about it than me just sitting there being like, all right, when is it? When is the twist going to come? When is it going to reveal itself? Go ahead.
Did you know that when they went to the beach is when the first tethered person committed a murder? Because the bum that's getting rushed into the ambulance
Oh, Jeremiah 11:11
was killed by his tethered person, because that's who the little boy Jacob runs into when he's going to the bathroom.
But we don't see that. We don't get revealed that that's who it is until the end, right?
We don't, but he does have like the red coming out of his normal clothes and the blood on his hands.
Yeah, but we don't know it's the Jeremiah 11:11 guy specifically until the end. We don't see his face until the end.
I said yes when I answered that question.
Yeah.
Now I'm
Yeah,
fucking
yeah.
argumentative.
No.
You're bringing
Now
that up.
I'm just thinking about it and I'm going through it in my head. I was like, oh fuck yeah, you're right. And then she recognized him, right? Or how would she recognize? She recognized him because of the other tethered self she ran into him.
Yes.
And you think, as the audience, oh, she recognized him from the overworld. Nah, son. I do want to say, I think Jordan Peele does really, like, he's amazing with this kind of stuff with film. He did in Get Out. He does it in Nope. But in this movie, there are many, many, many examples of where you see the real thing and a fake thing that copies the real thing. So when Lupita's on the couch in the cabin, there's like a fake tarantula statue,
Yeah.
and then out crawls a tiny real spider. In the House of Mirrors, you have the painting of the bunny, and then she opens the door and a real bunny pops out.
Right.
And you have a lot of these sort of things. I'm pretty sure it's kind of everywhere in the carnival too. It's where you have just these copies of these two things, but one of them is a facsimile of the other.
Well, when the frisbee lands directly on the circle, completely covers it perfectly.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like, I don't think we have to spend much more time on the beginning of this, but there's a lot of funny dialogue, specifically coming from Winston Duke. But when the son says "kiss my anus," and the dad's like, "I would have preferred," he's like, "I would have preferred you curse." Actually,
Yeah.
So we then get, I think, to the inciting incident. She finally tells Gabe what happened in her childhood, and he like makes a joke about it.
So
And then,
hold on, because I think this is a point that I missed watching it at first, but now thinking back how the ending happens. She says that she's scared about this person like following her and like being behind her all the time, right?
Right.
If she remembers that she switched the bodies back when she was little, wouldn't she be hyper aware of like always like the guilt eating her alive, always looking over her shoulder?
I don't think she has guilt about it.
But then, okay, then wouldn't she have the fear of always looking over her shoulder, waiting for the real Adeline to get her?
Yeah, and she's worried about it happening here because she knows that's where the entrance is
Right.
in
Okay.
Santa Cruz. If they're back, we don't ever know where they live. I assumed at the end when they're driving away, like after she kills Umbre, they're driving away and then they drive to home and they're like, oh, our car's on fire. For a second, I was like, oh, they found them at their home. But it's like, oh no, they went back to the beach house where those people were anyway, which is also like, so what the fuck was the plan there?
Yeah.
That made no sense.
They went to the beach house. No, they went to the beach. They didn't go back to their beach house.
When Pluto kills himself, he walks into the flames of their car because they're like, our car is on fire.
They drove it to the beach.
The beach house.
That was a big parking lot for a beach house for their driveway.
Well, it also, yeah, but it also like
And there was like there was the beach right there, like the sand
it was
and everything.
in the road. Yeah, that was Santa.
I think the tethered drove their car to the beach and lit it on
Why
fire.
were they going? Okay, but why are they going to the beach?
Well, that's a good question.
So either way, it doesn't make sense. I don't
Either
know,
way, it doesn't make sense, but I don't think they're going back to that house.
But what's funny is though it was a row of houses, and then the car had like backed up onto like the beach.
Remember, she's like, "Why do we have to go to that beach? There's a nice beach right there." And he's like, "That's not a beach. That's a lake with some sand, right?"
Yeah,
But what we see there is an actual beach, so it has to be a different place.
I know, but they pull into that road, and it's just like a row of houses on one side, and then like the road right there, and then if you walk over it, there's like a little cement thing. If you walk over, it's the sand to the beach.
Fuck, man, I don't know.
So I don't know where they were. Did they like? I mean, these people seem pretty well off. Did they rent a place in Santa Cruz?
It has to be close to the Santa Cruz beach because
I know she walks right to it.
When Red kidnaps Jason,
I agree with you. I'm agreeing with you. You don't need to explain it to me, but that's why I'm just like I don't know what that was. Anyway.
Also, when can the tethered people drive? Like, how do they know how to drive? There's no cars down there. Did you like how at the end where the people who were mimicking the roller coaster people were just like in a doorway?
Red might know how to drive though. She's at least seen it happen.
That was a good payoff too in the movie where the daughter is like, I want to drive. No, we're not teaching you how to drive. And then she ends up driving in the end. I thought that was good.
So you're handcuffed and he's messed up. So she tells him all about this and he makes a joke. And then the daughter comes in. He's like, what the fuck? And she's like, yeah, there's just a family in our driveway.
No, the son. The son says that.
Either way, the buildup of him being like, oh, this is not a big deal. And it's like, it's a big deal immediately. Immediately you look outside and there's 4 shadowy figures standing there. It's immediately a big deal.
I was okay with him dying. At any point in this movie, I was like, if he dies, he kind of like, he calls it upon himself.
I also think that these tethered people act like James Bond villains, whereas every other tethered person in the world immediately stabs people to death.
Well, because Red has more of a bone to pick.
It doesn't have to make it ritualistic. Just fucking kill her. That's the reason you didn't live.
I have to make it slow.
I don't think she said that. You sounded close to like her doing a Joker impression right there.
All my impressions are a Joker Jason, apparently.
So when Winston Duke walks outside and yells at them, and then the kids scamper into the grass and he runs inside, the movie does not let up for like a fucking hour straight.
Yeah, you're right. Because
anxiety.
Yeah, I didn't think about that because I had to like pause it multiple times because I have a son. Now I know how you feel. But
I paused it multiple times because I'm a bitch. So the kids had nothing to do with
it. Yeah, because it kind of lets up a little bit when they all get on the boat.
You think they've escaped. You think it's let up, and then it doesn't.
Right, because then it cuts to Elizabeth Moss and her family.
Correct.
Which I thought this movie, this movie is sub 2 hours. This movie's like an hour 57,
Right.
including the credits. So it's even less. It's like an hour 51 or something like that. I knew the Elizabeth Moss death was coming, and it was actually my most, like, I did not want to see it because of, I think, how gory it is. One, it's not that gory. Two, it's not that bad. But three, there was something extra creepy about it where it happens where, as the audience, we're on the outside of the house and it's like a pure glass house.
Yeah.
And you see it happen so systematically and quick that, I don't know, it almost just seems like emotionally distant, which is also like more sad of a death.
Yeah. I thought it definitely is played for comedy though, right? She's like, call the police. All right, play fuck the police.
By NWA. Yeah, I thought that was the funny. I fucking had to go back on that one. I was like, that is also when Josh, also known as Tex. I would like to know Jordan Peele's reasoning for naming the tethered people as he did, because Josh's tethered name is Tex, and then Kitty's tethered name is Dahlia. But I digress. When Elizabeth Moss, Kitty, reaches up to grab his hand, he does the old, like, the pull away, hand through the hair sort of
Yeah.
move. I was like, what is up with this?
That's like an 80s thing that presumably the real Addie taught them down there.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
By the way, a really, now that we're talking about a really like cool detail of how you would know that Addie is red is the real Addie is when she is talking to them and she's like, here's Umbra, I gave birth to Umbra, she's a fucking monster. And then I gave birth to Pluto, who just fucking loves fire. Which, by the way, him clicking that thing, he probably caused Pluto in the tethered world to do that, to burn his fucking face. But the tethered can't recognize that other tethered are fucking insane people, but she can because she's not one of them.
You also brought up a good thing with Pluto is that he's tried it a lot of times and it never worked, right?
Yeah,
But if everything happens the same way but the opposite in the tethered world, that means that however many times he's tried it and it doesn't work, it's worked in the tethered world.
right. Also, so this is like the 40-minute mark when this happens. So it's like we have an hour and 20. Like, this is the type of thing you expect to happen like towards the end of the movie. So there's just like the nonstop nature of this starting here and then just going was crazy to me.
At what point are you talking about right now?
Like when they break into the house and sit them down, like funny games style, like just toying with their food. And then Abraham decides to take him out on a boat to drown him. I don't know what that was. Why are we hiding bodies? You're taking over the entire world. Just stab him.
Oh, yeah. But if you remember, Gabe is obsessed with boats. So it would make sense on the opposite side of that. Not the opposite side of that, but a mirrored side of that would be he's also obsessed with boats.
Yeah, I can get that. So I love the way that Jason like tricks Pluto into getting into the closet and then locking him in there. The running scene, because we've talked about how Zora like doesn't want to do cross country anymore. Clearly, she needs to do it a little bit more.
I thought about that too. Also, are these people like
Robots?
way stronger than
Yeah,
everyone else?
I don't know.
Or also, like, Abraham isn't a pussy like Gabe, right? Like, he's not conditioned to be an absolute bitch. So maybe I mean, Winston Duke's a big guy. I would assume, like, and I also don't assume that they work out down there.
Well, so this is the thing about the movie is, none of that part of it is explained. There's this line from Red at the end when she's explaining a little bit that's like, we were created by the government to control people. We're clones or whatever. It's like, what? That doesn't even make any sense.
Well, it makes sense that they're clones, especially with, like, the bunnies and stuff, right?
I don't. To me, it'd be better if there's just like, if she's just like, yeah, there's no explanation for why we exist. I would be like, all right, cool, thanks. Like that's good.
Maybe
But like,
Jordan, maybe test audiences didn't like that. Maybe he added that scene in later because they were like, "We need an explanation," and he's like, "All right, well, listen, is a underground facility. Well, okay, they want to make a point, right? Like they're doing Hands Across America. They're making themselves known, killing and then holding hands across the world. Maybe they want like some sort of retribution for the against the people who put them there.
I guess, but they're like supposedly just killing all of them, or maybe just killing all the people in the U.S. Maybe the U.S. were the only ones who did this.
Well, that's why it's called Us. It's not actually called Us. It's called US.
United States. So they break free, get on the boat. You're like, oh, finally some respite. And then you get to their friend's house and you see the lights flicker. And remembering the detail, he's like, man, they're so awesome. They have a generator. You see the lights flicker, you know, like, oh, the lights went out. So this is about to happen. And then it happens real quick. And then they show up. I thought there was going to be some mention of like, we can't stay in this house with these white people that are all dead. Like, we got to get out of here.
like a racial commentary.
But I do think it's funny that they're like, man, I just wonder how many of these are happening. And then they all like look at the TV at the same time and then just watch the news like, oh, fuck.
Well, also, like Winston Duke's character is still not getting with the fucking program, right? He's still super chill about everything somehow. And Lupita's like, we got to like move to Mexico. We got to get the fuck out of the country. And he's like, or we could just stay here. I'm like, are you batshit insane?
You know, if they stayed there, the only one they had to deal with is Umbre. It's like 4-on-1. Pretty sure you could kill her. The other two just didn't show up. I don't know how far away they are. Also, the death of Abraham with the boat propeller was pretty cool.
Oh, where he slammed his head against it?
And like, so he got caught in, like, yeah, it was a little bit hard to tell what was going on, but yeah, it was very cool. The Elizabeth Moss capturing Lupita as, you know, Winston kills Heidecker, and Elizabeth Moss goes to the window, and at first you see like she's sad, and then she starts laughing, like, cause like they don't even know like what emotions to have.
Right.
The fucking Zora killing both of the twins,
One of
so
the
awesome.
twins.
Well, okay, thank you for the correction. At the time, I thought she was killing both. It's amazing.
That was cool, and like "Fuck the Police" is playing in the background. Like that whole setup is great. One of the best payoffs in this movie is at the beginning where Josh is talking to
I
Gabe
got 5
about
on it.
like no about like the boating stuff, and he's like, "Did you get the rope? Yep. Did you get the life preservers?
flare.
Yep. Did you get the flares? Oh, you idiot! You forgot the flares. Only for his flare to be like defected."
Yeah, a dud. So he has to kill him with his bare hands. So like, good on him. But I got 5 on it.
What's I got 5 on it?
It's the song that they're talking about in
Oh
the beginning.
yeah.
Which, by the way, Lupita is like, "Hey, get your fucking, show me that you have rhythm." She doesn't have rhythm when she's doing the
Yeah,
snapping.
she doesn't have rhythm, right?
She's off key.
Yes,
because she's not real.
Because she's not real. Yeah, dude, I noticed that too.
But anyway, I got 5
Did
on
you
it.
notice then at the end Pluto was snapping?
Yeah.
Because she was teaching him how, and then I guess because he was on key because the real Addie was teaching him how to snap.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck, dude.
Yeah. So I got 5 on. It's playing in the car. They're talking about explaining, like, oh, it's about drugs, whatever. Which actually, I got 5 on it. Is talking about like $5 for a $10 bag. 2 people. I got 5. I got 5. Splitting it together, like the synchronicity of that.
That's pretty good.
But then that song follows up "Fuck the Police" in the house.
Yeah.
And then when they're doing this balletic dance at the end, this dance fight, it's like an orchestral version of "I Got 5 on It."
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
actually the test audiences sort of, I guess, talked him into doing, from what I read, because it's played in the trailer for us.
Okay.
It's like so anyway, adding it to the last scene I think was awesome. Like, it's a great song, putting it on there. So we have killed all the friends in the house, we are safe, and then there's this argument of we need to go to Mexico. You know what? It's not a plot hole that they go back to the beach. She needs to kill Red.
Oh, that's why she drives to the beach.
She's like, so we need to go to Mexico. No, she's like, I have to go kill her. That's why she does it.
And does she think the place to like meet her is the place that they met at first, the first place they met?
I guess. The scene where they get there is one of the best scenes. When you sort of hear something happening underneath the car, they back up and Pluto is there. And then the son is like, this is a fucking trap. And he's so smart to like, he knows Pluto copies his every move. So he backs up, has him back up into the fire.
Where did Red come from? Did she jump out of the paint job of that car?
She was standing up next to it, her dark face against the dark window, her red against the red car.
It was so creepy.
Yeah, it was very cool. What's funny is Red doesn't give a shit about Pluto dying because she hates them. She doesn't like.
That's true. Yeah.
Whereas Addie is like, no, don't go into the fire.
Yeah.
Because she still appreciates.
Well, also, Red is kind of the leader of all the tethered people coming out and killing everyone, right?
Right.
And so she has a lot of military hand signals to command them, hey, go after him, go after her, yada, yada, yada. So she kind of views them less like her children and her family and more like her army.
I guess I would be interested. Do we, so she doesn't kill Jason. I think I've called him Jacob at certain points. She doesn't kill Jason when she takes him down. Are we to believe that she cares about the real world children rather than the tethered ones?
She never tried to kill them.
Right, but she doesn't care that the tethered one dies. But I guess I don't think we have like conclusive evidence that she cares about the top world ones either.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Her motivation seems to just like, is it to get revenge and get back upstairs where she belongs? I also feel like
if that was her motivation, then I feel like, why didn't she try that a long time ago?
Well, because it feels like she could just walk upstairs when she wants. Like, as long as you can make it up that tall escalator that's going the wrong way.
But who's tethered at that point?
But they're special.
But they're still tethered.
I wonder if she took her back down and then she's like, all right, now if I go back up, if I never come... I don't want to go to Santa Cruz. If I never come near there, she can't come back up. In her mind.
You also have to think about how long was she left handcuffed to that bed. Because she handcuffs her to the... You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So as a little girl, she handcuffs her to the bed and she leaves. Presumably, she can't follow her move, like if she goes back home or wherever that is. And who's going to let her go from the handcuffs? Because if everyone is mimicking everyone else, no one's going to stop and release her from the handcuffs.
But that is an interesting thing. Are they really like not tethered like everyone else? Is she special to where she could just come up to the top? Did she have to wait until the real Red came back to Santa Cruz in order to make it happen?
Well, there's that moment that you could argue.
It doesn't seem like that, honestly.
No, it doesn't seem like that. But there's a moment where you could argue that when her dad in the 80s is supposed to be looking after her and she breaks off.
Yeah.
That it's actually Red breaking off. And she's following her now. And that's why they meet at the mirrors.
Well, no, it is Red's breaking off the first world Addie that turns into Red, breaks off from her dad.
But what I'm saying the tether world Addie.
She also does, yeah. We find that out.
Right. And they just... Do those two... Did we get a clear picture of those two worlds mirror exactly? Like the escalator in the...
It's not exactly the same thing, no. Because the walk down to the beach isn't really that tall, and
right, exactly. So in order for her to do that, she would have to break off.
She'd have to be able to do it, yeah.
But they still met in the same place.
The tether these are why there's all these questions. But like the tethered world is not exactly the same, right? It can't be.
Well, also you have to consider that the tethered Addie at that point doesn't know that there's a real Addie. So they're both in this like fun house of mirrors. They turn around and they both see each other for the first time, and they
So maybe
realize,
that's why she's special, because that thing happened.
right.
She gets that smile on her face and says, "Oh
Right. And
fuck."
immediately, no, but think about it this way. She doesn't know what's happening in the overworld. She doesn't know that there's a tethered self to her. She just ends up in this place and she sees a person who looks just like her. Immediately she's like, I'm gonna knock this person out and switch places with them.
So this is a question. Do the tethered people, I feel like the tethered people know about the real people. The real people obviously don't know about the tethered people. So I think the tethered people can sense the real people,
Just by sense.
sort of like know it's happening. The fact that the little girl knew to switch them that quickly. Now the real Addie who gets sent down
Red, yeah.
probably isn't able to sense that, or maybe she is, maybe by virtue of being down there. I don't know. But I do think once they switch, I don't think there's anything stopping her from just going up because she is special, right? Maybe it's just like I can't. Maybe she just feels like she can't.
Well, this is the part where you're talking about this is more like a Twilight Zone episode than anything, because there are certain elements where no matter how many times we think there's an explanation and we're going to talk this out, it's just kind of this sustaining disbelief for the
Yeah.
sake of the movie.
Like there is no answer to why she
Ex-
took forever to do this or why she didn't immediately when she finally got unchained. Just like, I'm gonna go fucking find my parents.
Also, she says that it took like years and years and years of planning, but then again, you have to you have to think about the fact that if everyone mirrors each other, there's this scene that she's like talking about all the planning, and she's almost treating everyone in the tethered world as her army, where they're like folding their clothes and putting it on their bed very neatly.
Hey, I don't
Like,
understand.
surely not everyone above in the overworld is doing that.
I think it's like she broke them off finally. Maybe her dancing and her convincing, like maybe
You're right. She
she
broke
like
them off.
broke the spell and then like now I can control them. But I don't know why it took years of planning.
Maybe it took years of conditioning.
Maybe, yeah, right.
Also,
Yeah,
did they like how did they get the DNA samples from everyone to make clones of them? Did they start out as children? At what age did they all start out as children?
that's why I think like a more supernatural explanation is better than like the government did this. But also, I get the purpose of why he did that.
Mhm.
So, I
Mhm.
mean, we already sort of gotten to the end where she goes down there. It it's like 3 to 4 minutes of her walking down tunnels and escalators and to find her.
That cut between them fighting and then cutting to them dancing and the
Yeah,
mirroring of each one dancing to each one fighting is so fucking good.
it's also so there is a little bit of an element of like, first of all, the world's completely fucked, right? Like so many people are dead, at least in the US, if this is just sustained to the US, because it's our government that did this, right? But you got to think a lot of people are just dead. So they're driving off at the end of this, like, all right, let's go home. To what end? But there is this
Also,
whole,
what's going to happen when you're on the highway and you have to cross like the line of red people holding hands?
yeah, right? You're like, can you please move? Maybe is Jordan Peele doing an anti like protesters on the highway movie? I hope not. I hope not, Jordan. But there's this thing where they're fighting and doing ballet where like the underground red, she's the real Addie, but she's red, is sort of just anticipating Eddie remove, is like become this like fucking John Wick-esque fighter. Like she's Ana de Armas and ballerina, just anticipating everything, right? And she's become hardened by being in this underworld. Whereas Red, who is from this, has become softened by our overworld sensibilities.
Yes, but you could also say this is a stretch, this is a reach, but because Addie can't keep key
Right.
and she's a better dancer than her,
So a better fighter.
so a better fighter.
The other thing is like you have to think that the Addie and Red like they are special because a lot of the other people in the tether world, when you look at them, you're like they could not have come up and been normal enough to blend in at all. They're fucking shaking and shit, and it's like they're like
Uh-huh.
NPCs, and she's like the main tethered
Well, they're
character.
also a lot more animalistic too, right?
Yeah, and maybe that's the thing that develops through age. I don't know, but yeah, the fact that she was ever able to talk is just like it does lend you to believe that these two are special amongst their different,
Dude,
people.
Lupita in this is amazing. She fucking rocked it as both Red and Addie, but like the way Red talks, I was just like, holy crap, dude.
So at the end of the fight, she stabs her. She's like probably gonna die. And then like Red almost gives her this knowing, like, all right, well, you fucking did it, so you get to continue with this. And then Addie is like, I have to make sure you're dead. And does this thing with fucking John Wick thing with the handcuffs to like choke her and then snap her neck.
Right.
She gets her son, and he immediately is just like, I fucking know you're not my fucking mom. I mean, you are, but I know what you did.
Also, those lockers that he was in had holes in it. Like I'm pretty sure he just watched his mom brutally kill
His
his
what
mom.
what should have been his real mom.
But then also, like, are those children okay?
I,
Like Zora and Jason, are they 100%? Because
are
half
they
their
like,
DNA are clone.
yeah, that part is a little,
And
it's
then the way
just,
he looks at his mom at the end of the movie is like,
oh, he knows, but he's like,
yeah,
what am I supposed to do about this? But the whole country is fucked. If you assume that a large portion of these red people won fights, right? Because a lot of these post-apocalyptic movies like this, the reason they work is like the element of surprise. Like if we had warning that these people were coming, it's like they wouldn't make it out of the tunnel. Just
you know that hobo that's holding up the Jeremiah 11:11 sign. Do you know what Jeremiah 11:11 says?
I read it earlier. Yeah, I saw it,
It's
but
something about like the end of the world and like the
oh,
people.
they'll ask for help, and I'll tell them to go fuck themselves.
You should rewrite the Bible.
Like, yeah, I don't think it'd be great.
Yeah, and then she gives him like a little smile, but like it can't be too excited, but it can't be. And I was like, that's man. I mean,
The the smiles that she gives to her son is like a like, no, don't be crazy. You know what I mean? Like trying
oh
to
yeah.
don't be an idiot. Because I think you could convince him like, dude, she's a liar. Now there are a ton of things throughout the movie. So Addie doesn't drink. She doesn't eat normal food. Elizabeth Moss is trying to talk to her, and she's like, I don't like to talk.
What do you mean she doesn't eat normal food?
Her family's eating fast food, and apparently she's just eating strawberries and water.
But why? What's
Because
that trying to say?
she's not human. She's human, but not really.
Hmm. Yeah,
And maybe she's over meat after eating raw rabbits for the first like 7 years of her life.
I feel that. Yeah. I mean, yeah, she's like, "Oh, are you ever?" I'm thinking about back to the conversation that Elizabeth Moss had with her, where she's like, "Are you ever sad that you gave up dancing?" Which is kind of telling, right? Because she can't fucking keep beat. She probably got kicked when she came back, and her parents thought she had like PTSD. She probably came back as like a horrible fucking dancer, and they were like, you're off the ballet team or whatever ballet troupe, the ballet troupe. You're off of it."
So this movie references a movie that's shooting over there. That movie is probably Lost Boys, and several key scenes of Lost Boys take place at the Santa Cruz boardwalk.
Okay.
This says Lupita was basing her voice off of it says Robert F. Kennedy Jr., but I think it's more just the condition he has, the spasmodic dysphonia,
Hmm.
which is like the roughness of her voice.
Yeah,
Because like,
when I heard her, I thought of RFKJ. No, not really.
but the little girl. First of all, that little girl's acting so good. The fucking evil face she gives, and then chokes out the other girl.
Oh, the
So
little girl who played her younger
Addie,
self.
yeah,
I thought you were talking about Zora and Zora's tethered self. I thought Zora was a pretty good actress too.
she was. So this movie references Michael Jackson's Thriller, which also has sort of a moment at the end where you're like, is it the real person or is it the,
You didn't we talk about how the tethered people can only kill their real selves?
right?
But you had that moment where Zora was kind of cornered with herself on top of that guy's car, and she fucking wrecked that dude.
Well, she cut his leg. We don't know if she actually killed him.
Oh, so they can maim, but they can't kill? Do you think that's what Elizabeth Moss's family, her tethered family, was trying to do? Is like keep Lupita there long enough for the tethered Red to come and kill her?
Yes, that is what I think. Now there is some. Do the tethered people recognize that Lupita was actually one of them?
That's another question I had, and also maybe because that person is like their messiah in the tethered world, maybe they feel a little bit weird killing someone who looks just like her.
Yeah. So obviously, there's a nod to Friday the 13th with Jason wearing a mask,
Yeah, of course.
but also sort of pointing out that in the first one, spoiler alert, the mother is the villain.
Ooh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. On the news it showed that the tethered people would kill each other and then run like directly into the line to hold like the next tethered person's hand. It's like their job was this: is you go in the overworld, you find your self, you kill yourself, and then you go and join the line, right?
Basically, yeah, that's what it seems like.
But Elizabeth Moss's family did not do that. They like hung out at that house. They got dressed in their clothes. They like did flips and shit in their bedrooms. Like Elizabeth Moss spent like 20 minutes putting on makeup. And it's like
Maybe
they were like relishing in the fact that they were human.
maybe they were just waiting until the next day. Maybe that's part of it because we didn't see the lines form until the next day.
Well, it brings me to my second part of this is that remember when Lupita was like, or sorry, when Red in her voice during the monologuing was like, when
You got me
you
monologuing again.
when you were full, we went hungry. When you had toys that were cuddly and cute, we had toys that were sharp that could cut our fingers.
Okay.
So there's like this mirroring thing, but the opposite. I think Elizabeth Moss's family they're like implied to be very wealthy, right?
Correct.
So they had a really good life, which means that the tethered versions of themselves probably had it really bad, like really bad.
Maybe. And they had to, if they knew what was going on, that these people have it great and it sucks for us.
Well, that's why they relished in that like giant extraordinary house a little bit more. Also, I'm disappointed that they didn't do something cooler with the fact that they had twin girls. Cause like imagine if like one of the twins came out of the bedroom and she's like, "What's going on, mom? The lights flickered." And then the other twin came out of the other bedroom, but that twin was already the tethered one.
Right.
And then they're like, "What the fuck are you dressed like that for?" And then stabby stab kill kill.
I think it was I think it was well done already, so I don't know if your version would work.
You notice the twin that like flipped over the banister and like crash landed on the glass coffee table? There was like a close up of her where she was like perfectly still, like she was dead.
Yeah.
And but then they cut back to her and the fact that she was not dead.
Do you think they filmed the scene where she was dead like last and like actually killed her?
Stop. I just mean like the commitment that the tethered person had to give to like be dead, like
That's
pretend to
like,
be
yeah.
dead for that long.
Are they smart or are they not? Like what's going on? Or maybe she was just knocked out.
I think because they reference this a bunch throughout the movie, it's their animalistic instincts.
Right.
Because they're like animals, like when possums play dead, right? I think it was just instinctual that for her to survive in that moment was better for her to play dead. And then when everyone left the house except one person, because it would have been a 4v1, right? And
Yeah.
then she waited until Lupita was alone, and then she's like, all right, I'm alive, I can come back and fuck shit up. I think it's just saying that they've lived under there for so long. I mean, they were eating raw rabbit, living like animals, basically. And I think it's just trying to tell us that they're they're more animalistic behavior than human.
So as we've talked about this, it like a lot of the maybe questions I had like have sort of like revealed themselves. I do think this is a perfect example of a movie where you need to watch it a few times, right? At least twice. And it'll
I think on
probably
the
give you
second watch, knowing it, you would come upon like you would catch more things.
and you get a better appreciation for it, right? I think I started off a little bit negative on the movie. I think it is really good. There are like a couple things here and there. You knowing the entire movie obviously affected how you viewed it.
Yeah.
Me sort of like figuring out like, oh, that's gonna be the twist at the end of this. Because as I was watching it too, I was like, man, he always does like happy endings, right? Like for his Get Out, like that's as happy as an ending as you can get, right? Because you have the original ending where the main character ends up in jail.
No, I think he gets shot, right?
No, he ends up in jail
Oh, okay.
in Get Out, and then we get the version where his friend comes and like saves him.
Rodney.
That's like the happy ending version.
Right.
In this, it's like, oh, we get a happy ending. The whole family lives, and then you get that little bit of like, which is a totally Twilight Zone thing of like, oh, actually, the mom hasn't been the mom the entire time.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it does, it like I said, it raises so many questions of like, well, actually, like she's the more normal one now. You can't Red can't like live in that family, and she doesn't seem to want to anyway. She doesn't care about those like kids or
She
those
just wants the
husbands.
revenge. She just wants the revenge and to let her
Yes.
people go, and she did. I mean, she didn't get the kill, but I mean, at the end of the day, she let enough of the tethered people go out into the real world that eventually probably everyone's just going to die.
So which president did this?
Oh,
Hoover?
it's Obama. I thought you meant like, okay, all right. Who did this? Who did this? Who's 80s? Oh, I would say Reagan. Reagan probably did it.
Maybe. Well, no, because the people, I don't know. Yeah, when did they clone them? How long were they down there? It doesn't necessarily have to be Reagan.
Abraham Lincoln,
Could have been
motherfucker.
Nixon. Could have been Nixon.
Could have been Nixon. Could have been good old Jimmy Carter. So let me ask you, which so far, Jordan Peele's only made 3 movies, directed 3 movies. You have Get Out, Us, and Nope. You haven't seen Nope yet. Between Get Out, and Us, which one do you like better?
I think Get Out so
Yeah.
far. I think I haven't seen Get Out in forever. I wasn't like, there are people the year Get Out came out that was like, that's the best movie of the year. That should win the Oscars. That's one of the best movies ever. It's one of the best horror movies ever. And I was never that high on it. I thought it was amazing. I think the people that spoke like that about Get Out are like the Bradley Whitford character that was like, I would have voted for Obama a third time. I thought it was an amazing movie, though. And I'm definitely glad that he won. I think he won the screenplay Oscar for it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he did.
I think Get Out is still a little bit ahead of this. I would imagine that I'm probably gonna. I think a lot of people are like on the fucking fence about Nope, whether Nope's good or terrible.
No, I think more and more people are realizing that Nope is a fucking masterpiece, and I think it takes about 2 watches. It did for me, because on my second watch, I was like, "This movie's actually amazing,"
I'll
and
tell you what.
I think you're gonna like it too.
By the time we do Nope, whenever that is, I will also have watched Us a second time, so I can like repent for my sins against Jordan Peele and apologize for questioning anything in the beginning of it.
So I think Hollywood should really repent for their sins against Jordan Peele, because Get Out was a pretty self-contained movie. Like, it was that house really was the main location, right? Nope is contained, but also like a little bit of a bigger budget, obviously. I think Hollywood is really doing a disservice to Jordan Peele to just not give him a fucking like a $200 million budget of a movie. And I read the saddest thing is that he was supposed to, when they were making it, I don't think they're making it anymore. I think it got completely scrapped. But he was supposed to be directing the live action adaptation of Akira, that anime movie we did.
Yeah.
And it got scrapped. But oh my god, that would have been amazing.
So the budget for Get Out was 4.5 million estimated, 20 million for Us, 68 million for Nope.
That's what I'm saying. Give the man a $200 million budget and let's get that Akira live action movie.
You know, the problem is the early reviews for him are coming in as fucking terrible. And most people think he directed that thing because it's every time Jordan Peele produced movie.
Yeah, but
That, like,
he didn't direct it.
I know he didn't, but
I'm
a
not
lot of
holding it
people
against him.
that it's like Tim Burton's A Nightmare Before Christmas, right? Like Tim Burton
Right.
gets all the credit for that. He did not direct it. Like the movie is being marketed as like selling on his name, and so far it looks like it's not considered very good.
I believe when you and I went to go see Weapons, that was the first time you saw the trailer for that
That is
movie.
not true at all. I'd seen it 1,000 times. It was the first time that I had heard you say I have no desire to see it, and I was like, I don't know, Jordan Peele's involved. It's probably gonna be pretty good. And then the reviews came.
Well, we didn't really talk because we were in the middle of a movie, so we were being respectful. So we totally miscommunicated each other, but that's fine. What I'm saying is that movie just does not look interesting to me in the slightest, and maybe I was right.
Well, the Marlon Wayans character looks pretty fucking awesome to me. Like
Is
him
it
going kind of
directed
crazy.
by them? By the brothers?
No,
Or are they just in it? Okay.
just one of them's in it.
Yeah.
Sometimes they do things separately, I think. Maybe another one makes an appearance.
You don't know? You haven't seen it.
Well, thanks for listening to another episode of I Finally Watched. This is David.
And this is Alain, and we watched Us.
Finally.